haven't even had coffee yet. I don't think I'm gonna have coffee. Today I thought I would take you through a morning routine. I'll also be talking about how you can build your morning routine. These are just a few things that I use when I build my ideal morning routine, and I think everyone can use for their own morning routine. Let's have my pre-workout snack. Half a year ago, I was the type of person who would wake up as late as possible for everything. I'm not saying that is bad, but I never had time for myself in the morning. I never had time to do the things that I wanted because I was always rushing to get to where I needed to go. I somehow managed to build a more sustainable morning routine for me that involves doing things that I love. For instance, going to the gym. I love going to the gym. It gives me so much energy. It helps me get through the day. It sounds so bad. It helps me stay motivated and stay focused also when I'm studying or I'm doing something else. I'm actually looking forward to my mornings and I just love my morning routine. Simple as that. And trust me, if I could build a morning routine that I love and I could go from waking up as late as possible to waking up extra early so that I have time to do it, you can do it. First of all, you can achieve any routine that you want to. I'm convinced that even the people who wake up at like 3 a.m. and go on a 10-kilometer run were not born with that routine, they just built it over time. And of course, it takes time and effort, but it's doable. But you need to be realistic. Dream big, but plan realistically. You are not gonna go from 0 to 100 in one day. You're not gonna be able to go from not having a morning routine to having time to work out, journal, read, meditate, and get ready. Prioritize things. Take smaller steps. I would really recommend to start as slow as possible. On the first day, you could maybe wake up 10 minutes earlier and do some light stretching. Then the second day, you can wake up 15 minutes earlier and do some stretching and a 5-minute meditation. Be patient, aim to be 1% better every single day, and you will see the results compound over multiple weeks and months. Just remember, this is not a sprint, it's a marathon, and if you just take it slow, you're gonna end up so far. Next thing is to make sure you keep the promises to yourself. Now, let me explain. We probably all had this type of friend at some point in our life where you want to meet up with that person and you agree on something and then the day comes and something happens. Something comes in between, your friend cancels with a random excuse, like you can tell it's not really a big problem. Then you decide to try to meet up again. Same thing happens, the friend cancels, something comes in between. Then the same thing happens over and over and over again. And what is gonna happen at some point is you're gonna stop trying to meet up with that person because you know that that friend is gonna cancel on you, right? That is the conclusion that you come to after X amount of times that you've tried to make it work, but it just didn't work. The same thing happens when we make promises to ourselves. If I make a promise to myself, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow at 5 a.m. and I don't do it, then I try again the next day, I don't do it, I try again the next day, I don't do it. I am just disappointing myself over and over and over again. And at some point, I will stop believing that I'm actually able to even do it, because I have lost all the trust in myself. Once you start showing up for yourself and keeping the promises that you made to yourself, you're gonna see that you become way more self-confident. You are more likely to reach the next goals that you set, and you just trust yourself more. Like you trust yourself that if you set a goal and you plan doing something, then you're actually gonna do it. And that is so valuable. You do not have to choose between doing 100% of your morning routine and doing 0% of that. Set priorities. Figure out which things are the most important to you in your morning routine. What brings you the most energy? What brings you the most joy? If you only had 10 minutes to do something, what would you do? If you only had 20, what would you do? It is very likely that there's gonna be days where you just don't have time to do everything that you want to do. But that doesn't mean that you have to give up on your whole morning routine. You can just do parts of it. That can be anything from 90% to 50% to 10% to 5%. I have this hoodie on my shoulders and I just realized it looks kind of weird. You don't have to do your full morning routine every single day. It's not a to-do list that you just have to tick stuff off of. Yes. Don't do something just for the aesthetic. Anyone who's on the clean aesthetic, it girl, that girl side of TikTok, if you know, you know. It's full of those moody, vibey, aesthetic morning videos. It just inspires so much aesthetic, so much luxuries. I love them. I don't know why I made them sound so bad. I love it. I love watching them. They hook me. It's a vibe. But while they look good, it might not be what's best for everyone. For instance, if you see someone who's journaling and it's so aesthetic and it's amazing and it looks nice and the journal looks nice, it doesn't mean that that's gonna be something that you enjoy. I think the internet can offer a lot of helpful tips, a lot of inspiration, and it's great. But there's a limit to that. To try it out and to see if it works for you or not, and then keeping what works for you, giving up on what doesn't work for you, that is fine. But doing stuff that doesn't work for you, that just doesn't vibe with you, just because it's aesthetic, is kind of pointless and you're just wasting your time. Not everything has to be aesthetic in order for it to be good and in order for it to be helpful for us and make us feel better and make us feel energized. Just a reminder that the internet always shows the best parts of something. I know I make these like morning routine videos and stuff like that. There's always stuff laying around the corner somewhere. I just don't show it. That is the cord from the vacuum. I can just tilt the camera. It's gone. It's just a small example that things on the internet can be so easily changed to make them look better than they actually are. The last thing is to document it. Track it in some way. There are so many different ways to do it. You can track it digitally, you can track it on paper. You can have, for instance, a habit tracker in Notion like I use, but I also like to track stuff on paper. I just write down like all the habits and then I put like a X in a box. This is if you want to make it visual. You can also try to get like an accountability partner. Maybe you and your best friend are trying to build your morning routines or some healthy habits in the morning together, and then you can keep each other accountable, which is amazing. You can also just write down somewhere the things that you did that morning that made you feel good, and all of these things just help you be able to look back and see how much you actually did. It's also feedback because you can see when you did what did you not do. It will also help you keep going. So just find the method that works best for you. Maybe you're a visual person, maybe you like to write it down, maybe you want to talk about it with your friends. You can always make like a TikTok account or an Instagram account and post reels about your morning routine. I now have my fitness TikTok account and my Instagram account. I used to have another account where I would actually do a lot of like morning routine, get ready for uni with me and all of that. And when I tell you, once I started making those videos, I started to just enjoy my morning routine so much more because I kind of got that like visual feedback. Just at the end of the day when I would edit my little videos and I would just cut everything, I would actually like them so much and I'll be like, oh, that was cute, that was such a nice morning, let's just do it again tomorrow. You can also not even post them, just make them for yourself, keep them in your drafts or post them and leave it on private so maybe you can see or you and your friends can see, and then you have kind of like a digital journal. And I think that's amazing. I think having a nice morning routine that you enjoy helps you so much because it just gives you a great start into the day. And thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like this video. I always appreciate the feedback. And with that being said, I'll see you in my next video.